Hello, everyone. We are Geeks Assembled. I'm Lee. That's Susan over there. And as there's a clue with what Susan's wearing today. Yes, we're going to be talking about Tommy Cooper. No, we're not. we're, we're discussing all things mummified today. This cast is about a 1964 Hammer film, Hammer horror, um, called The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Um, and it's sort of same story, expedition and oh look, she's got the Hammer Films collection there, so I've got that on there, and it's all about the mummies coming back from the dead, doing someone's bidding, as most of the mummies do in these movies. Um, so we'll go over to Susan for opening thoughts on Curse of the Mummy's Tomb.
Well, it is a really good movie. Although it's panned by a bunch of people, but they they had there were a lot of like sort of visual non sequiturs, like the pyramids near Cairo, which they're not. They're near Giza. That's why they're called the pyramids of Giza. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And some other things like that. The really interesting thing about this is the way that it's basically attached to an amulet of a necklace that an archaeologist steals from the tomb and gives to his daughter. Very much like the whole thing that happened with the Stargate. The beginning of the Stargate franchise began very much the same way with the symbol of Ra. And then they went to Abydos and they had the symbol of Ra, and changed it helped them not get eaten alive or killed or whatever, you know. And it helped the god Ra get killed by them with their nuclear device that they brought with them. Anyway, it was good. It was fulfilling. The mummy was, I mean, it started off a bit like soupy, drippy kind of mummy, a bit like coming out of the clay, out of the muck. That was weird. That was definitely a different whole take on the whole mummification thing. And he looked kind of like Christopher Lee. So I know what they were at. You kind of, that's what they were after, right? Oh my gosh, it was just there. It was, and then it was like, as it went along, the mummy got more and more clunky and less like alive looking. So it's basically the inverse of the next movie that we're going to be reviewing, which is interesting because like there are two different takes. One went one way, one took the mummy further and further from life, and the other one, even with the amulet, even with that whole thing, further from life, further under humans' control. And then the other one is like, and he gets more and more and more alive until, like, anyway, so two different takes on the whole thing. The curse is that everybody dies, or do they? You know, like there's a lot of people who survive that, the Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. But it's a good Hammer movie. In that like a lot of super famous people are in it, and I'm gonna leave the cast list up to Lee because he can actually, since staying near the whole cast list is British actors, he'll know pretty much all of them. I will I'll leave that up to him. And but I just gotta say I really enjoyed watching this. I like Hammer movies. I like them because there's an element of the horror story in it, which is
Mhm.
fun, which is, you know, kind of what you're getting at when you're getting mummies. Like if they end up doing the Anne Rice mummy stories, like they're doing the Mayfair witches and the Vampire Chronicles. You know, there's going to be a lot of this looking at the horror part of it, but yeah, Hammer is definitely horror, and a lot of that is because of the way that the mummy is, you know, he attacks people. He sort of delivers them a killing blow, as it were.
Mhm.
And but it's not like they disempowered the women in the story too much. I mean, there was a lot more going on there than you would imagine. So that was also fun. And there was a, there was a real sense of energy, and it kind of went all the way through. I mean, it was an enjoyable watch. So yeah, that's my opening thoughts. Back over to you, Lee, for yours.
Well, thanks, Susan. Yeah, this is just one of many mummy movies which was made back in the 60s,
Uh-huh.
on the success of the Karloff movie,
Uh-huh.
the Christopher Lee movie. Um, it's been a while since I've watched this one. Been a long, long while. It was good to sit down and watch this.
It was my first time to see
Oh,
this.
yeah. Um, you've got all the elements of a mummy movie in this, as you say. You've got the amulets, you've got the sarcophagus, you've got the someone who behind the scenes is pulling the strings, who is doing all these what do you call it? These spells, these phrases to control the mummy.
Mhm.
You only find out who that is near the end of the movie. But it's a bit of a giveaway though, because the character is very suspicious from the first scene he's in.
Mhm.
Um, and you think there's something not right about that guy. And but yeah, it's a story of surviving the mummy. I did like, as you say, it's the facial features of the mummy did resemble Christopher Lee. I wonder if they used the same mask, because this is what they did back in the day, just reuse things. But what I did like about this, which you didn't get, as far as I remember, you didn't get in the Christopher Lee movie, is the, the breathing of the mummy as it's going along. You can hear it breathing. So I don't remember hearing that in the Christopher Lee movie. So that was a good addition. So it was a bit, it creeped you out a bit where it was walking and you could hear it breathing, rasping. Um, yeah, it's a hammer horror. It's a typical hammer horror. Great to have a bit of gore in there, which you do only for a bit, with the professor having his hand cut off,
Mhm.
um, which was fanned by me.
A lot of those guys got their hand cut off. There was a lot of that in that series of movies. Go on.
But you know, of course, he dies because of all that, and the body's taken back to his daughter and that lot. She she, she soon forgets about her father dying, doesn't she?
Yeah.
You know, she's sort of, one minute she's, oh, you know, father and all like that, and then the next scene she's so happy being in the excavation with the other guys in Cairo. Um, and I'm thinking, wow, she's forgotten about her father already. she's just smiling away. I think it's move the movie on, move the movie on. But yeah, as I say, you've got
That's
the
why the way you put that, that's really why I thought that she was a sort of an empowered woman character, because she wasn't weepy throughout the rest.
no, but she, you got the feeling that was it. Yeah, that was behind her. She's forgotten about her father, and
Hmm,
which you don't.
you don't.
Um, you don't do. You've also got the mouthy American. What do you call it now? Businessman.
Adventurer.
The businessman who is going to take the mummy of, was it Ra, on tour across the country and on a stage show.
Ra-Antef, yeah.
Yeah, you've got the mouthy businessman. You know he's going to get his comeuppance, um, and the way he treats, is it? Oh, I forgot his name now.
Bay,
Lord,
pass
no,
me Bay.
is it the one who was in charge of the expedition? Was it? Uh, I can't remember now.
Sir
He
Giles Dalrymple,
That was the one. Yeah,
Jack Willem,
it was the one who was in charge, and he resigned because he didn't want
Jack
the mummy
Willem.
to become a freak show
Yes,
thing,
exactly.
which good on him for standing his ground, but then all of a sudden it turns him into an alcoholic,
Uh-huh.
and you see him spiraling out of control with his drinking, and another victim of the mummy along the way. The only thing about this is what a sort of a 90-minute movie.
Hmm.
The mummy didn't sort of appear in action until about 50 minutes into it.
That's true.
You're watching the story come along, and you think, well, when's the mummy going to appear? But 50 minutes into the movie, there it is. Um,
Yep.
yeah, it's got all the elements of a classic Hammer horror film. You're watching it, and I mean, if you are a Hammer horror aficionado, you mostly do see, which I mentioned about the Christopher Lee likeness, and you mostly see all the sets what they reuse. Um,
That's really, yeah, that's very
you
evident. Yeah.
look at the study in the house, and you think, well, that's been used in another movie, and this is what the Brits did. And I suppose the Americans did it at some point. Just
Yeah.
reuse, don't throw it away. We'll reuse it for the next couple of films.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a fun movie. A bit of a twist at the end. Found out the villain, which you knew who it was to begin with, but why he's the villain, and we know that sort of the mummy saves the day.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it was a good movie to watch. Anything for you? What you liked in particular, Susan?
Well, I like the part where the team was meeting, and that they were sort of fighting with each other over the disposition of you know the whether to keep digging or to stop and to you know do a service or whatever, funeral. And I thought that was really cool. And I thought that the other part that I liked seeing Ronald Howard in it. He was a good Sherlock Holmes
Yeah,
and at one point. So I mean, it was fun. And I kept trying to think, is he the father of our Ronald Howard, our Ronnie Howard? And he wasn't. They're just two actors of the same name in
he
different
was
countries.
he was he was the son of the actor Leslie Howard.
Yeah, okay. So the son of Leslie Howard. So
Mm.
it's very good.
The
Anyway,
Pimpernel.
What's that?
Leslie Howard's most famous for playing the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Oh, okay. Yes, okay. But anyway, this actor is someone that I've seen in some things, and it was great to see him. And I mean, I'm sure that Terrence Morgan was well known to British crowds, but the Fred Clark, I don't remember him. Um, but yeah, there was yeah, there's like a cast of a bunch of really good actors, and then there was also I loved the I mean, you can compress space too. I'll give them the Cairo thing, but it was pretty weird. But anyway, um I think that uh I think that they did a really decent job on this. It's not like I don't know if it's not as good as the Universal, but the Universal is it's got an originality to it, but this takes it someplace that the other one wasn't going to go. Was to the
It
to
just
the
adds it just adds to the mythos of the Mummy franchise, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah, took it to someplace where the incantations were on the scroll, and then the other part was the amulet.
Yeah.
I mean, like, those two things were important. And I don't know, I liked the way that they that this movie made me like feel like I enjoyed watching the mummy himself. And so that was great. That was really great. This what was the actor's name? Dickie Owen, I think. He did he played the mummy,
Yeah,
and he has
Dickie
a
Owen.
facial structure not far from Christopher Lee. So yeah, probably what Lee said, same mask, and so that's fun. That's really fun.
It was it was good to see George Pastel in this. I
Yeah.
mean, he always played Egyptian museum curators and bad guys. I remember him playing a bad guy in Doctor Who,
Uh-huh.
in Tomb of the Cybermen with Patrick Troughton.
Mhm.
Um, he he got sort of he was one of the good guys in this, but he didn't survive. I mean, the way the mummy came down on his head with his foot.
Uh-huh.
Um,
You thought he crushed it.
yeah, you mean you didn't say anything, but he was worshipping him, saying, "You are my God," blah blah, and all this crush. But it was good to see George Pastel in this because he's been in many things. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I I was glad you picked this, Susan, because I think you must secretly know that I am a Hammer horror fan.
It's not a secret, Lee. This is not some sort of cryptic thing that you've inscribed in your Facebook in code. No, listen, like this, there is a thing, a mise en scène. Here we are, and this hammer, these hammer horrors and hammer chillers have a lot of energy to them, and they are good storytelling.
Well,
And
maybe come our further down the line in the year for our horror month, we
uh-huh,
may have to do the Hammer Horror Month.
uh, that's
Just a
yeah,
suggestion.
so that's a That's something that you should ruminate on there.
Yeah, we'll think about that one.
Yes, 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 yes. The other thing is that you know, these these are told in a way that that that's that starts you thinking about these adventures that you could have, but it doesn't take you on one. But the next movie that we're going to review is the answer to that. It's like what this is what you know. You start to see a little of the excitement and stuff in this one, but the mummy has like Lee said, it didn't show up till like 3/4 of the way through the movie, and you're just like, oh, hello, you're here now. Okay, I was waiting for you. You were needed in this piece. Yeah.
Yeah, where have you been?
Where you been? All right. Yes, exactly. And so then the story can continue, and you know, as some of it is in Egyptology seems like it could be really super dangerous and supernatural.
Yeah.
You know, this is showing that sure enough that is dangerous and supernatural, and that amulet's got a lot of power. And so, you know, there are people who really believe in pyramid power and all that stuff, crystals and amulets and ankhs and all that stuff. It's fun. But the important thing is to realize that, you know, there's also a side of like the study of ancient Egypt and the ancient Middle East that is all about being on an adventure, because it is so different from the north, you know, where we live. Anyway,
Path of
just
discovery.
just cool stuff. And so yeah, that I think yeah, I think that's key to this as well. And so yeah, that's back over to you.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's a classic. I mean, as you say, some people rip it to shreds, but every movie gets ripped to shreds by critics, and so it's whatever you like to watch it. But this one, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, I can't fault it. It's a fun watch. It's corny in some places. It's a little bit dated, but that was what back then. Hammer Horror was one of the leading film franchises, which lasted from from the 1950s up to I think it was the mid 70s.
Mhm.
So and they're on the go. They've come back now. Hammer Horror, the Hammer Productions.
Notice
Um,
that.
yeah, they've passed in the past 15 to 20 years. They've occasionally make a movie. I think the most successful one was the Woman in Black.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they've had
With Daniel Radcliffe.
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it's
They've,
good.
they've they've made several other movies after that, so they're still on the go as far as I know, but they're not with the success of back in the day. Every film company has its day, I suppose, and its height of success. Um, but yeah, because as you think about, I mean, there's been a lot of mummy movies, but what do you do with a mummy movie to make it different from another one? Because all it is the mummy doing someone's bidding against its will.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to change it up you can't just rehash the same thing every movie what comes out. You've got to change something.
Right.
As I say, and I think Hammer did succeed in that. If you ever watch any of the movies, they did sort of succeed in changing the sort of element of the movie. But yeah, it's a good little watch. I mean, it's a nice little thing to for you to choose, Susan. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
So,
Well, I've got some other ones here so that we could watch during that spooky time.
what ones are on there?
The Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll, Scream of Fear.
Oh yeah, that's on
Uh,
here. Two Faces.
the
Yeah, that's on here.
what?
That's on here. That's on there.
The Gorgon.
Yeah, the Gorgon's on here.
Stop Me Before I Kill.
Mm.
And then of course the Curse of the Mummy's Tomb.
Oh, nice.
It's very nice.
So, anything else before we go to final say and score?
No, it's good. I've enjoyed this a lot,
Cool.
and I enjoy Hammer more than I thought I would. Yeah, that's true.
So what would you give it then, Susan?
I'll give this 9 amulets, 9 little scarab amulets out of 10. It's powerful, it's empowering, and it will make evil happen. All right, over to you, Lee. What's your final say and score?
Yeah, I love it. I don't want to say anything bad about it.
Here it comes.
No. It's, of course, it's as I said, it's a little bit dated now, but it was 1964. If they'd set it in the modern day of the 60s, then it wouldn't have stood up. But they had to set it in, I think it was Victorian era or
It's
something
60
like that.
years old, okay?
Yeah,
It's older
so
than us.
and but yeah, I enjoyed it. Anything Hammer to me, I enjoy. So I'm gonna give it 10. 10 rah-rahs out of 10.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was just fun film to watch. I just love gory British horror. So Susan, thank you for picking the movie.
Welcome.
You guys out there, have you seen Curse of the Mummy's Tomb? If not, why not? Get out there and watch it. And if you have seen it, let us know what you thought of it. Leave a comment on this video. You'll find this video on all platforms of social media. I just share it about. So, but if you'd like to join us, leave a message below on the video. You have to be 18 plus though if you want to be on these casts. And make sure you've got a working camera and microphone on the device you use, and you can be in if you want to be with us. So it'd be nice to have some other people with us. Also, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Please remember to press the bell notification button.
Ding ding.
Ding ding, indeed. Yeah, you'll get notified every time we put a video up. And if you've watched any of the videos before, you know why I'm laughing. So I think that's it, isn't it, Susan?
I think that's it.
Well,